Okay, so you were asking how to improve in chess, and here there is the Lasker method that will help you to improve in chess. And now we are going to show game 19 of chapter 4 on the attack. So imagine if these games are giving you some benefits, imagine to read throughout all the other games. Game 19 is between Vladimir Antoshin, 2305, against Sergei Gorelov, 2445. So Gorelov is nearly AM strength. This was played in Moscow 1984. White starts with e4, c5, Sicilian defense, f4, the Grand Prix attack. Generally, the Grand Prix attack is really based on attacking the king side, while black will try probably to expand on the queen side. The game continues with g6, but generally d5 and knight c6 are maybe more common. Let's see how it continues. Knight f3, obviously bishop g7, c3, because this blocks the range of the bishop. That Nintsovich would say the bishop is biting granite, no? This kind of very hard stone. Let's see, knight f6, d3, d6, queen c2, very interesting because it gives the idea that maybe white wants to play a castle on the queen side. No, very strange. Castle, bishop e2, b6, castle. Okay, so this is the normal development, and bishop b7. At this point, let's notice that white still didn't finish the development because there are these two. And what does he play? He plays f5, boom. And here the author's right. One would expect development from white, but with black setting up a solid and flexible but not very direct formation, white feels he can make some attacking gestures without risk of being punished. Let's see what happens. c4, f takes g6, h takes g6, knight g5, c takes d3. I don't know if this move is good, at least if black doesn't play immediately this and blocks everything, because I guess after bishop takes d3 white wants to attack, right? So, and here it says, as a result, white has an impregnable knight on g5, and he will move the queen to h4 to add the pressure. Sometimes, but only sometimes, there are other priorities than development. Here there is little black can do. Okay, let's see. Knight bd7, queen f2, queen c8, queen h4. Now practically, if he's able to remove a defender of h7, he can give a checkmate, but it's impossible to remove it because there is another one ready, right? Let's see what happens. Black plays rook d8. This is a very interesting move. Why? Because it leaves the square free, so black can double control there if he needs to. Okay? Knight f3, knight f8, yes, like I thought, and bishop e3. Now the development is finished for white, and he has some pressure on the king side. Black doesn't have any kind of counterplay. If you notice, all his pieces are on the fourth rank, second rank or fourth rank, so clearly is not very active. No? Queen g4, so the black plan is to swap the queen to avoid this attack. But obviously white doesn't want to give up a queen, right? Knight 8, h7, h3, queen c8, knight takes h7, oops, king takes h7, oops, knight b5, king g8, a4, rook f8, queen h4 again, and queen d7, knight d4, queen c7, a5, b takes a5. And here we have a comment that says no fixed center this time, but it is once again clear that the king side is a separate sector and there are not so many defenders. White feels that his numerical advantage on this part of the board gives him the moral right to sacrifice and attack. Well, these pieces are pointing at the king side, so also if they are not directly here, they are pointing. This is pointing to this, yes, clearly white has some kind of possibilities. So if you were white, how would you continue from here? White continue with knight f5, boom, g takes f5, this has opened a line to attack directly the enemy king, rook takes f5, and let's see what it says here. Even the engines feel now that white's attack should be unstoppable and give him a very positive assessment. Though he is a whole piece down. Not that due to the intermediate a4, a5, there is also a rook on a1 preparing to join the battle. Let's see how it joined the battle. Knight e8, e5. Okay, now we see how we join the battle. Tac, tac. The bishop on d3 also joins the battle. Queen c6. Oh, and here is threatening checkmate. Rook g5, protecting from the checkmate, attacking this. f5, e takes f6. This is an en passant, right? Rook takes f6. Rook a takes a5. Boom. And king f8. Rook a f5. This is not the best continuation, they say. The best was the bishop c4. And rook d8, it's a mistake. It seems this move is making black lose. Now white plays queen h7, but the real move to play was rook takes g7. So let's see what happens with rook takes g7. Here the authors write that probably both sides were in time scramble because probably they have made many mistakes or inaccuracies. Let's see what happens. Knight takes g7 and rook takes f6, e takes f6, queen takes f6, king e8, and queen takes g7 with unstoppable threats. Why unstoppable? Because obviously there is this that gives checkmate. Of course, the problem is that he will take here, take, and so the endgame is two bishops against a rook. And then you must know how to win in this kind of situation, right? Okay, let's put the position back to what it was. Okay, let's continue. White played instead queen h7, and after bishop a8, which was not the best. The best was rook takes f5, very interesting. Bishop d4, also in this case it's good, but once more there was rook takes g7, that was the best, probably found by computer. d5, finally rook takes g7, knight takes g7, queen h8, king f7, rook takes f6, e takes f6, and here if he would have taken with a queen there was a winning endgame for white. Queen takes d8, knight e6, and obviously here strangely there is this move, but they think that is flag. In the time probably they still had these mechanical clocks, you know, with the flag that was really so he played this and he didn't see queen takes f6, I don't know why. Obviously, yeah, time scramble. Who knows what was happening there. They were probably banging over the clock, right? So after queen b8, a6, now we just make the moves, because if they were in time scramble it doesn't matter. King h2, bishop b7, queen g3, knight takes d4, c takes d4, queen b6, bishop g6 check, king f8, and bishop f5, queen d8. Obviously not this, because queen b8 and wins the bishop, so that's the reason. So c takes d4, let's see, I play just queen d8, h4, wow, bishop c8, and queen b8, and the game is over. This game shows clearly that sometimes it is not enough to set up a solid and flexible formation, and when the opponent can mass a bunch of pieces in the sector near the defender king. We must be ready to react. Antoshin was able to get what Lasker called a large superiority of force on the king side, which he felt was great enough to give a whole piece with a long-term sacrifice that was the knight f5. And he was right, a valuable lesson for attackers and defenders alike. But honestly, there is a problem to this reasoning, honestly. The problem is the following. We don't know if that kind of sacrifice is working or not in a real game, in a long time control game, because maybe there is a refutation, or maybe, again, we don't know how many times the amassing of forces on one side actually gives a win. If the amount of forces amassing on one side, and this today can be seen with databases, gives you like a 30% win, so maybe it's not really true, no? It depends on the defensive skill of the opponent. In any case, this was game 19. Next game is Christopher Zeal against Gerald Welling once more. We like the games by Welling, not only because he's the author of the book, one of the two authors, but also because they are kind of interesting and sharp from what I saw the last time. So I hope you will also enjoy this book like I'm enjoying it now. Thank you for watching.